Hey everybody, welcome back to Wicked Good Sports. This is At the Buzzer, and we're joined, as always, by Ryan Flynn, filling in for Jack Tiernan. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. I mean, it's a good time to be a Celtics fan right now. Couldn't ask for much more on that front.
No, it is a great time to be a Celtics fan. 3-0 on the season, victories over the 76ers and Heat, who we assume will be two of the better teams at the end of the year. And then they beat the Magic, too, who, yeah, we don't assume they're going to be one of the better teams, but still, a win's a win. What'd you see in the 76ers game that you liked?
So I remember last week I had kind of expressed that I was hesitant. I didn't really want to make a definitive prediction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now kind of biting my tongue because especially once I started watching the game, you get
Mm-hmm.
nervous, especially like the Sixers were looking pretty good on paper this year, but like, oh man, I forgot like the Sixers, like the Celtics are just a terrible matchup for them, right? They're a very
Yeah.
like slow half court team that really wants to bring you to their pace. They're gonna try to draw a lot of fouls.
Mm-hmm.
The Celtics,
James Harden's going to try to draw a lot of fouls? What?
Joel Embiid, a
Mm-hmm.
7 foot pluser who flops on the ground like
Mm-hmm.
on charges.
Yep.
Yeah, no, but so yeah, like you saw the obvious where the Celtics are just faster, they're more athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, at first, like, the 76ers, it kind of looked at first to be a close game. And I
Right.
think for me, a big turning point was, do you remember when Marcus Smart and Embiid kind of like, they kind of locked arms,
Yeah. It
right? And
almost looks
then,
like Smart got hurt on that play, fortunately.
yeah, and
It was
then
that
and then
good.
Embiid flopped to the ground and Brown got involved. You
Yep.
kind of saw it like, so I think Smart said in an interview, you know, he's lucky like he didn't crack his skull because that's what he would have done in the past. I will say, like last year, I like Smart kind of seemed like for a second he was going to go at it. I don't think we would have saw that last year at the end of the year, at least with the just the relationship Adoku seemed to have with him. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it was kind of good. He almost popped off and got a little upset because
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt at that moment like I just felt like the tone of the game really shifted and the Sixers just didn't stand a chance. And I mean, what it came down to is that just Brown and Tatum are like, yeah, you know what, we are the best players right now on the court. What,
Mm-hmm.
35 and 36 points? Just like,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of forget. It's like, we compare them to George and Leonard, but it's like these guys are younger, right? They're
Right.
what? I mean, Paul George had 40 points the other night. It's not
Sure.
that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, these are two guys that can easily, be top 10 players in the league for a long time. Tatum's already there. I really do think Brown has the potential to be a top 10 player.
Yeah.
I felt
And
that way for a while,
they're
personally.
both so young. I mean, it's a meme.
Yeah.
Like Jason Tatum's so young. He's been like the
Yeah.
thing people have said about him for so long, but he is very young.
No, yeah,
Right.
especially, yeah, and I think there was a joke with his height as well. Because
Mm-hmm.
someone said he got taller, and he's like, well, haven't I been 20 for like,
Yeah.
but it is like, because I mean, these are two guys that, right? It was an odd circumstance where they got drafted early picks on like
Mm-hmm.
a team that was semi-competitive. So they've been in it forever, right?
Yeah.
Like these
It
guys are
seems
both
like they've
seasoned
been in the
players.
league forever, but there's both what 24, 26, like
Yeah, I
something
know
like that.
Tatum is 24 still. Brown might have turned 26. You might be right in that. I
Yeah.
thought 25, 26. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought maybe it might have been yesterday. If so, happy birthday to Jalen Brown.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so yeah, off of that, I feel like, man, we got a straight up rivalry between the Heat now. It is great. I love it. Heat fans fucking hate the Celtics. I follow a lot of them on
Oh,
Twitter because, of
yep.
course, the Dolphins, a lot of crossover, which is very fun for me. I don't think the Celtics hate the Heat, at least this iteration of the Heat, because I think the Celtics have been successful lately against the
Yeah.
Heat. But yeah, I love that we have a rivalry brewing with Miami. So what'd you see in this game?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, right, the Heat are a good team. And again, the kind of strategy that you're going to use against the Sixers, it's not going to work as much against the Heat, right? They're a tough physical team.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, the mantra of Pat Riley, right? Everyone's got to be in crazy good shape.
Yep.
Obviously, Kyle Lowry doesn't always fit that bill, but
Right.
there's
He's
always
just
going to be.
blessed. He's just too caked up to be under the weight limit, but that's fine. That's not his fault. That's genetics.
Yeah, it worked. Hey, it works for him.
It does.
But yeah, I thought we had a clear lead. I remember at one point and then it kind of got close again. And again, that's to be expected. Like things aren't going to go perfectly all the time. You know, there's going to be moments where we get a little careless. But again, I just felt the whole time. I never felt like the Celtics would lose. I would be like frustrated. I'm like, this is a little closer than I was hoping.
Yeah.
But I never felt like this team is better.
Right.
And he had like what? I think Tyler Harrow had a pretty big night.
Mm-hmm. So, one thing I have to ask. I personally love this. Just want to get your thoughts on it on the record. Jimmy Butler's fake look for media day. What did you think of that? Because now those are the photos that they're gonna have to use in every promo thing for the rest of the year. It looks nothing like him. In fact, I didn't know this happened. So when they promoted the Heat and Celtics game on Twitter, I was like, "Who is that?"
Yeah, my first thought was this dude needs help. Like, are you okay? Someone talk to them, someone get their boy.
Yeah.
Is he like, what's going on? Is it some sort of midlife crisis thing, or I guess 35, whatever, whatever his age is. But yeah, no, it was bizarre. I think the weirdest part for me was the no facial hair. He always kind of had something going on. Just that with the no facial hair was pretty wild. It's tough with Jimmy Butler because, right, he is a very intense guy.
Mm-hmm.
Different teams he's been on, this team really works for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of buy-in. He gets a lot of buy-in from the other players and his intensity, but he's clashed on other teams. It's kind of tough for me to tell when he's being serious and when he's not. Right. I know, he'll always, whenever they ask him about PJ Tucker, he'll always be like, basically like FPJ, he's a traitor. And it's like, PJ didn't play with him that long, right? So it's like, I can't tell if he's joking. He probably isn't, But.
It's like, oh yeah, that's very funny. He's like, no, I hate PJ. He comes anywhere near me, beat him up. But I loved that he did that. But big win, 2 big wins to start off the season against, most likely playoff teams. The Magic, they're not there, obviously. No. But they might be a up and coming team, maybe a scrappy team, and they certainly played the Celtics in a scrappy way on Saturday. What do you think of this game?
So they're definitely an up and coming team. An important thing is to think of Paolo Banchero, right? I knew this. I think I've kind of told you, this is just a guy who looked like NBA ready, especially physically, but on all ends. And it's just everyone I've talked to is, man, this is just a grown man, on the floor as a rookie. He's just he came in. I think he got the most points in a debut game as a rookie since LeBron. Right, he had 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists in his first game.
Pretty crazy. Yeah,
he's had 20 plus points every game. First 2 are almost double doubles. And then there's Franz Wagner, who I think is an incredible player. Right, he's another guy from Germany, another 6'10" forward. He can kind of do the point forward thing. Right, he can kind of do a little bit of everything. But to me, he's more of a second star. So for sure, Paolo is really going to fill that role as the primary. And you have a ton of talent on that team. Very young. Wendell Carter Jr. is a great center, They're not even really using Mo Bamba. Cole Anthony, it's kind of a question of how he fits in, right? He's a guy who kind of is going to want the ball a lot. That's not what you want when you got these two, just incredible, 6'10" powerhouses, who also just have a ton of finesse. But yeah, they're a good team. So a good young team, and this is a game, right? They're kind of sneaky good. Obviously, they're not going to have a winning record or anything like that, right? It's going to take a while. Yeah. It always takes a while, but this is a sneaky good young team, right? And I think they're going to be better than we'd expect fairly fast. And so this is the kind of game you just played 2 teams. It's your second game in a row on the road. These are the kind of games I could just see the Celtics messing up, right?
Sure, yeah.
It's just it's an easy loss. But the fact that they were able to pull it together and win, was huge. And Jalen did not play well, but he kept shooting, and those nights happen. And I think it seems like him and Tatum have both really grown. And I think like now we're kind of at the point where like, he can learn from those mistakes.
Right. And hey, Derek White stepped up. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's still on the dad energy, I guess, from the playoffs that we talked about.
Yeah.
But
I'd have to look up his 3-point percentage, dude, but he's been pretty automatic from three.
so very exciting. Obviously tonight it'll be the game will be over by the time people listen to
Yeah,
this. But
yeah.
who you got Celtics Bulls?
Celtics Bulls, it's got to be the Celtics. I mean, they've looked fantastic. The Bulls, I think they played last night. Levine came back. He looked pretty good, but I don't know. The Bulls are just, to me, they're just like a fringe team. I think this, last year that was their peak. I don't think the team as is. I don't see them getting better, but also, right, they've got like these 3 stars. It's kind of like you don't want to tank with that. You just got to play. But like with the competition in the East, I just can't even see them breaking the 8. And like I said, I've always, even with everything that went on, I was never doubtful that the Celtics were at least a top 3 team. Right now, it's very early in the season. It's 3 games. You don't want to jump to any conclusions, but they are looking like, they potentially could be the best team in the East.
Right.
Personally, I would never be worried about a matchup with them in the Sixers in the playoffs, right? Even when I was higher on this, I still think the 76ers are going to be very good this year. There's just, Joel Embiid doesn't seem very happy. It seems like they've got some kinks they've got to work out. But yeah, I would Celtics to hit the spread. No, yeah, Celtics to hit the spread, absolutely.
Awesome. This we didn't talk about this before, but this is tangentially related to the Celtics. Danny Ainge, how did he make the Jazz so good by getting rid of all these players? And Kelly Olynyk, former Celtic, hit a game winner last night. What is happening in Utah?
Yeah, so that's just, it's Trader Danny, right? This is the guy, right?
Danny's a trader.
But also just like,
Trader.
He's known me. He loves to trade.
I thought you were being like Jimmy Butler here.
No. I guess it's a double entendre kind of thing, but no. He got us right. He got us the Brown pick and the Tatum pick. So I remember seeing that Gobert trade. And you're like, oh man, all right, it could be a cool fit, but like, man, he scalped the Timberwolves. Yeah. He got everything he could, right? And even the Mitchell trade, he got stuff, but you could kind of, for Danny Ainge, he's just like holding his tongue and he's like, I'm going to get you back for it. I don't think he was happy with, but yeah, he's just so good at that, right? He has and that was kind of the thing is the Jazz, it's pretty obvious they want to tank, right?
Right. We thought.
Oh, I think they do. So I think honestly, right, he's just so good at getting assets, right? And like, you have these players, you got to get some players in return. They're not a cohesive team really. They're not going to win 50 wins or anything as is, right? But they've got players. Yeah, they've got guys you would want on your roster, right? I mean, you just said, Kelly Olynyk, sure. Lauri Markkanen, Mike Conley, Rudy Gay, Jordan Clarkson. I think Vanderbilt, I want to say. He was from the Timberwolves.
Yeah. Right.
Just all really like solid players. So it kind of makes sense. The fact that they beat the Nuggets first game was ridiculous.
Right.
But the Nuggets
beat the Timberwolves after.
Yeah, that too. But the Timberwolves are going to have kinks to work out. That's that's going to be tough with Cat and Gobert. Like, it is a cool concept, but a lot of that team's like, I feel like a lot of that team's like efficiency came from the fact that like, you had to pull your center to guard Cat on the perimeter, and that's going to open up a lot for like, Ant Edwards, D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell and Gobert make sense together offensively in theory, but it's just going to like Gobert kind of forces you into a more half-court, slow offense. I don't really think that's what especially Anthony Edwards is suited for. Probably not.
Right.
Cat is best suited for either. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I just thought it was very fun. There were a lot of
Yeah.
memes last night about Danny accidentally building a super team of
Oh,
misfits.
for sure.
To
Yeah.
like,
No, and that's what it was. And like so I've never thought that me and my friend were going over predictions, right? And he's like, dude, this team is like good. Like I think
yeah,
they'd probably be a late playoff team. It's like, yeah, but I don't think that's what Ainge is going for.
no,
I
I
think
don't think
I
so
think he
either.
saw that and was like, oh boy.
Yeah,
I think right. These guys are building. Oh, they have Colin Sexton as well.
mm,
You know, he could score 20, 30 on you any given night. I think a lot of these guys right now are probably building up their trade value, and then Danny's just going to
just
continue
gonna
to.
trade them again. Just
Oh
flip them.
no,
Yeah,
100%. That's what he's going to flip most of these guys, I believe.
yeah. So
Right.
I guess in a couple years, Jazz is gonna be very good.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely one of the top teams to tank for Wembanyama for sure.
Yeah, right. Oh man. All right, Ryan. You've been writing for the wikigoodeverythingsports.com blog. Can you give that a little plug here?
Yeah, sure. I've been doing a preview with this NBA season, predicting Eastern and Western Conference standings. Going from countdown from the worst team to the team I think will rank first. Giving records. I'm giving the team rundown, all of that. So if you want to check that out, get mad at whatever prediction I made about your team, feel
Yes,
free.
that's the real fun of all this is
Oh yeah.
just pissing people off when you know like I intend at some point to just like piss Buffalo Bills fans off. They deserve it, quite frankly. So I'm gonna have to talk shit about possibly the best team in the league. But yeah, go follow Ryan on there. We can get everything sports.com. And do you have anything else you want to plug?
No, just it's a good time to be a Celtics fan. It's
Yes.
I don't right only 3 games in. You can't just assume that it's going to be this easy all season, but it's a
Right.
good start. Let's just hope it keeps up.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Ryan.
All right, thank you.
As for this channel, you can follow us on Twitter at WickedGoodSport or WG Everything, Instagram WickedGoodEverything, Twitch at twitch.tv/WickedGoodEverything, and on TikTok, search Wicked Good Sports, search Wicked Good Everything. We will see you all in the next one.